All right, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Painfully Human podcast. I'm excited. I say that at the beginning of every episode because I want to talk about something today that I hope helps you. Um, I really want this to help you. These are a lot of mistakes that I've made. No guest today, but just a space where we get to talk. And if I can be honest with you, I just turned 26 last week as of recording this, not last week, 12 days ago. Um, and I am 26 years old right now. I haven't figured out life. I'm very far from it. But I think I've made so many mistakes. And I've learned things through frustration and pain. And so I'm hoping in the next couple of moments I get to share some stuff with you. I was praying about it and I'm like, okay, what if only a couple people watch this? And then I realized, okay, it's a couple of people that if someone had done that for me when I was looking, when I was searching for it, I wouldn't have maybe have made some of the mistakes. So I'm hoping that this speaks to you. These are things that I wish you learned before you're 30 because I'm grateful I learned it to a degree or I'm at least aware of it before I'm 30. And if you're 30, we love you. If you're 30 and above, we love you. I'm not saying that, wala ka ng pag-asa. I'm not saying that you don't have any hope anymore. Not at all. I'm just saying I'm grateful that either I learned this by mistake or someone taught me this or I read it somewhere or realized it before I turned 30 kasi sayang. That's what I just realized na sayang. It's a shame if I didn't get to learn this because I wouldn't get to live the extra years having this with me. So, are you ready? Okay. All right, you guys can talk back. The team is in the studio. It's great. I learned this. I learned that you need to learn to start ridiculously small. So when I mean ridiculously small, I mean like stupidly small. And so I am someone I would say is, or in the past, hasn't been the best at overcoming things that I don't like. And so that's just it's been a huge thing for me. Is I need to learn how to overcome those things. And one of those things was my fitness journey. Now I know as soon as I say fitness journey, everyone's gonna start looking at my posture, my my muscles. I'm saying part of this, and later on you're gonna see it is learning to be a little okay with yourself when you're in that journey. My fitness journey did not start healthily for a while, and I want to shout out a guy called Frank and a woman called Mindy. They'll know who they are, but you won't know their last names. I love Frank because Frank is a fitness coach. And he gave me a course, and I love him, and I know him from church, and I didn't do the fitness course, and he responded in a way that surprised me. Instead of kind of sharing, aircon, instead of sharing to me how disappointed he was and how annoyed he was with me, he actually started just asking me why. Everyone say why. Why? Because what ended up happening is he asked me why enough times that it got down to, hear this, I realized my perspective on fitness and health was from my upbringing. And what I learned from my upbringing was you eat healthy so you don't die quick. And you eat healthy so you don't get embarrassed by other people. So that's the mentality I grew up with. I learned that in my school. I learned that in family. I learned that through showbiz. You eat you eat well and you stay fit so the producers don't get upset at you or comment on your body fat. And you eat healthy so you don't look like your parents or other family members that got high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes. And so I grew up with a fear of dying, and I grew up with a fear of people commenting on me. So it's with Frank that he asked me enough whys to get through all of my excuses, all of my insecurities to those foundational truths. And I'm proud to say it now, but initially I actually started crying to him and I said, what if I only have the emotional capacity to do one push-up a day? And he just looked at me and said, that's awesome. You're doing more than you did yesterday. And then he introduced this kind of concept of the fan. Like if you're sitting at a table and you have a bunch of papers on your table, if you put your electric, let's say there's a 1 to 10 on the electric fan. Let's just say social yung ano. If it's a 10, it's gonna blow all your papers away. But if it's a 1 and you're in the Philippines, it's not gonna be really strong and you're gonna get sweaty. So you have to find your middle part on depending on where you're at, what space you're in. He said maybe Edward, your 0 was doing no push-ups. Maybe doing 1 push-up. Maybe it's not even just your 1 on the electric fan. Maybe that's your 5. And so I started with 5 push-ups a day. And I did that for a month. Just 5 push-ups a day. And it was so ridiculously small that I'm like, and you know what? It wasn't 5 push-ups on the ground. It was 5 push-ups against the wall or against the sink. And he would check on me every day and say, "How was it?" And I said, "I did it." And then I'd do it in the evening. And then he messaged me in the evening, "Did you do it?" And it just built my confidence to just getting to this point of it's actually not like, because the world will honestly shame you. Like the amount of guys that I've looked around and they'll be like they'll comment on, and let's just like, some of us are just being guys. I've probably done it too. I'm looking at a guy that I've done it to. Sorry, I love you, Charlie. I'm so sorry. Hurt people, and I just want to apologize for everything I've done. But like we joke around, we slap each other. You know, it's just like what guys do. And again, not always healthy. So again, I apologize. But I realized like I felt so shamed by the fact that I couldn't get to 50 push-ups a day. Why can't I do it? I'm a failure. And you get stuck in this, wala, I tried and I really can't do it. And so it just took a man saying, like, validating that it sucks sometimes and the fears are real, and then just practically building that every day. There's a point I could do like 40 push, and like good form, not like, yeah, guys. No, it was like actually good form. And I'm actually like, I'm liking myself more. So that's an awesome thing. So that's the first one. Just start ridiculously small. Number 2, for those of you who don't want to be 30 and not know how to do stuff that you wish you knew how to do, is learn how to build systems for your life. There are people in this room right now that will potentially want to zone out just from hearing that. Please don't be like me. Angge, our producer, is like, yep. Some of the other guys, I don't know if you're like me, but you're like, just don't really care. Which I'm not saying you are. But my point is, learn to build systems. I think I'm a high capacity person. Someone called me, and I don't agree with the title, but he called me the king of pivots. And that's because a lot of time at work, or when we're hosting something, or like we're doing a game and it doesn't work, I'll just like pivot. And you can kind of survive in life through pivoting, but you won't enjoy your life through pivoting. So if you create, and especially if you're in charge of other people, and you're loving and you're responsible for other people, this is actually not the healthiest thing to do in the long term. I think the times that you can be the most flexible are when you've planned enough. If that makes sense. I learned that through this podcast. I literally spent longer creating my notes today than I probably ever have. And I've been preparing since last night because I want to make sure that it's actually... See, growth, guys. Shout out to all the people in the first episode. They're like, your thoughts are so unstructured. Ha! Growth. So learn to build systems. You want to know what my system is? Speaking into ChatGPT and Claude AI. You can tell me whatever you want. AI now is smarter than the smartest coder in the world. So I'm not going to try to be the smartest coder in the world. I'm just going to utilize the tools that has been. And so I believe if you can't lead ChatGPT in what you want to do, you cannot lead a relationship in what you want it to be. That's just something I just honestly believe. AI is so smart right now that it can help you. There's some AI purists out there. I mean, God bless you. I am not the best at organizing things, so I will get a artificial intelligence to organize things for me. I can't create the best presentations and visuals, so I will get the smartest AI thing to do it for me. And if that makes me dumb, then let me be dumb, but let me function. And let me love people well through this, because I think it's helping me and it's helping people. I'm a verbal processor. So I speak into ChatGPT for it to organize my thoughts for me so I can then communicate healthy expectations to other people. So example of this, I had a friend of mine recently. I said, hey, we need to stop doing something that we were doing. We need to move on to the next. It was part of an event. I said we need to move on to the next part of the event. They said, what time? I said, look at the pre-show, whatever time. It doesn't fly anymore. They're like, Edward, what time? And so they needed something specific. And so it kind of connects with my next point, which is communicate expectations. But I'm giving those 2 points together because if you're someone like me and you struggle to communicate what you want, using AI to create systems for you and using AI to list it down, it is amazing because it makes you love people and allows you to love people better because they understand what you want now. And so literally I'm not perfect at it, but I've learned to use AI, AI prompts as best I can, where I'm so specific. My notes are simply this. You won't be able to see it, but it says big point and then a bunch of small points and then an outro. I spent 10 minutes speaking into ChatGPT, and my prompt was create a list of notes. I want it to be bullet pointed so I can understand it. I'm doing this for a podcast. I don't have time to read everything. I want it to be straight to the point so I remember it. Keep close to my language. I want this to be clear and concise. Don't add stuff. So my prompt is sometimes longer than the stuff that I'm creating because I just want it to be clear. Say it with me. Clarity is kindness. It's so kind. And if you're someone like me, that sometimes, leading into my next point, struggles to communicate expectations, all the creatives in the room just sighed a breath of fresh air because before I would tell them I don't like it and they'll be like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't like it because it makes me feel like this. And so even asking ChatGPT to help you process things, it is a tool, guys. It's not going to come alive and destroy your life and be your, president. Maybe we can turn the aircon a little bit. It's a little cold, so my voice is getting dry. But use AI to help you do the things that you're not naturally good at. And I think if we have pride about, I was the guy that was like, no, I will write my own scripts. In the way that the world's moving, we don't have enough time, guys. And if I want to be able to love people well and communicate healthily, this is a great tool that I've just used to write things down quickly. And just be able to do that. So again, learn to build systems, use AI to do it. If you don't know how to do it, here's the best prompt you could ever have. ChatGPT, here's what I want to do. Here's why I want to do it. Ask me enough questions until you have 95% of the information you need to give me a system. That is it. Please just do it. Trust me, it's going to change your life. Here's another one, random. I'm going from different topics. Create boundaries with your messaging. We weren't designed to know all the news in the world, and we weren't designed to be accessible by everyone in the world. And I realized I've gone through something recently, and I apologize to everyone in this room, but you'll hear the context of it now. I literally sat with AI for 45 minutes, making it ask me questions so I could figure out why I didn't want to respond to people. So if you're like me, a lot of times I don't want to respond. Apologies, Angge. I also apologize. There are times I just really don't want to respond to people. And I began to wonder, the lies in my head were, I don't want to respond to people because I'm lazy, I'm undisciplined, I don't care about these people. That's the lie. Like, man, you don't care about these people. That's why you don't want to respond. I was wrong. And so after this, I will get healthier, everyone. To everyone in ministry that I still have to reply to, I apologize. I'm getting there. Can I just be honest for a moment? I'll get healthier, but number two, you will now know why, and you can have grace for me, or you can't, or you won't. It's fine. I'm just gonna get healthier because now I know. Here's why. Decision fatigue, where I just realized I had decision fatigue, and it's driven me to. And that's not an excuse. I'm not blaming anyone. It's because of structures I set up myself, things I communicated to people. Like, if you have an issue, talk to me about it. And I realized that's actually not healthy. If you want to run things on a larger scale, so all the business owners out there, if you look after a team, you just have to operate stuff and put systems in place that not everyone is asking you. Someone at church on Sunday asked me for safety pins. and the initiating leader that I am, I'm like, I will find you those safety pins and I will help you. And then I realized there could be someone in place to better provide you safety pins. Um, and that's not me. Because if it's me looking for safety pins, it's people that don't get spoken to or taken care of or welcomed well, and I'm not doing my job because I'm doing someone else's job. And so I realized I had so much of potentially ill-fitting structure, for the long run, just being clear, for the long run and for how we want to grow in life, in my life, that it led back to me so much that I didn't want to always figure out someone's problems. And ChatGPT actually wrote back to me, you are withdrawing for self-protection, not because you're undisciplined or lazy. And I was like, wow, thank you. Again, it points out the issue, but now I'm aware of it. Now it's like, make a change, bro. Just being honest. And so there, I want to I learned I have to create boundaries with messages, so that when I'm done with work, ministry is not a work. It's a calling. It exists after work hours. But if I'm still doing admin tasks at home with my loved ones around me, probably not the best in terms of availability for the people that I care about. Now, if someone calls me and they have an issue, I will get off my butt and I will talk. But if I'm still planning an event in the evening after hours, probably not the healthiest system. So just creating boundaries for that. Did I explain that well enough? I hope I did. Does anyone lose trust in me now because I admitted that I suck with messaging? I'm getting better at it. I would put this, invest into your emotional health. And I would say how to do that is a couple of certain ways. Let me just set a baseline for this. I think our generation is the most emotionally literate it's ever been. It also has the potential to be the most literate and the most uneducated at the same time. Here's what I mean by that. I think sometimes we can become so aware of the different terms that we use, and at the same time not use or actually practice any of them. Oh, I'm triggered. Oh my gosh, my past is coming back up. If you use that an excuse when you're 30 years old at the workspace because mommy and daddy didn't hold your hand when you were young, it's not the best in the long run. I say that as a 26-year-old who has at times used that internally. We can become so aware of the terms we got to use, but not actually walk in healing and dealing with our crap. We can know the words like triggers, I have anxiety. I'm not invalidating any of those. If you literally have listened to any of our episodes, you've seen me validate much of that. But at the same time, we can't just use the words and not walk it out. It's so important. Like, you can talk about, oh, I have issues, I have triggers. Great, please deal with them, because it's going to limit your relationships. It's going to limit what, as a Christian, I would say God's call on your life. It's going to limit how you grow in your workspace, and that will affect, in some regards, your income. It'll affect your kids' emotional health. Like, what you're gonna look at your kid, shout at them, and then blame your parents for not doing. You're now the parent. Like, you know what I mean? Now you're doing the same thing to them that was done to you. It's our responsibility to fix it. So I put here, don't just become literate with the lingo of emotional health. Deal with your crap. Like, please just do that. Look, whatever you look after now, you'll be able to take care of in the future. And I had a counselor say this to me when I was maybe 23, 22. They said to me, Edward, I'm really glad that we're talking now, because you get to live with the fruit of this for longer. If you dealt with this when you were 60, you'd probably only have 30 to 40 years left before you can't enjoy it anymore. Now you have your whole life ahead of you to enjoy it. You can go through life, God can still love you, and you can still go to heaven with it. But I don't know, I do want to enjoy my time before heaven, and I want to enjoy heaven. I don't want to suffer through my life now and then get to heaven like, oh, thank you, Lord. I believe heaven should not be an escape. It should be a promise of something even greater. But, that's why, some people, if you believe in the rapture, this is a crazy talk right now. I don't know. Like, I would say is if you believe in stuff that's just to help you escape the life you have now, I mean, I don't know if that's living. That's just me. So invest into your emotional health. Everyone around you will be better for it. One of the best gifts that you can give someone is a healthy you. Now, spectrum of that, don't become that person that just wants to love yourself. Please. I look after yourself. I do believe if you love yourself, you love the people around you. But if you're always putting yourself first, that's actually called selfishness. And there's no servanthood or surrender. And especially if you're a man, this is literally one of the reasons why we have corruption in our country. Because we're thinking about ourselves more than we're thinking of others. We're called to serve them. Please serve. Next one. This is random. Jumping up to another topic. Is this helping someone? I hope it is. One. I'm not even on episode halfway through yet, so I'll run through them. We might go a little longer. Debrief your intense moments. Please do this, especially if you're a man, but also if you're a woman. Please do this. If you have something happen to you that's emotionally shaking, big or small, please acknowledge it. It's fine. What I mean by debrief intense moments, so I recently had a friend do something pretty terrible to me. Not a lot, not everyone was affected by it, but I was pretty affected by it. But when I talked to someone about it, I initially kind of caught myself going, yeah, and I kind of moved forward with it quickly. And then I realized like a week later, I was still feeling something about it. And it goes on varying, if it's you're mourning the passing of a loved one, if big transitions happen in your workplace, if you lose something that's really important to you, like there are things that you just need to debrief. And by debrief, I just mean acknowledge. And by acknowledge, I mean acknowledge it to someone. It's sharing what happened. I literally have had moments recently with people that I love and I care about. Some intense things have happened. And I've sent them a voice message saying, "Hey, I just want to let you know that this is what I'm going through, and this is what I'm, just an update. I just say, here's an update. This is what's happened. This is what I'm feeling. I kind of just realized that this is what I'm like. Could you pray for me? Do you have any thoughts on this? And if you're super close to that person, is it okay if here's how you could be here for me if you're really close. I don't do that to everyone, but here's what happened from there. That person didn't give me a ton of advice, didn't take too much time, responded to me when they were able, and just sent a 1 minute to 2 minute voice message back saying, "Hey, yep, here's what I think about that. Love you. Thank you for telling me this. Yeah, here's my thoughts." And this is a man twice my age, older than me, kind of guiding me through life. And so I've had moments like that with friends. And if you just acknowledge what happened, I know my example that I gave you is kind of vague, but if you just acknowledge it with people, it's so important. And because here's what happens, and I'm talking especially to the men now. If you don't do this, you will be like this, and suddenly you'll be like that. It's not a gradual decline. It's we're great at putting out output until we're not. It's like, I'm just thinking, if you guys ever have seen Prince of Egypt, like the animated movie about Moses, there were men there that were pulling these blocks and they just fell down. It's kind of the same way with men nowadays, and it always has been the same way. We will perform and execute and do well and serve our families and love them well by working hard until we just snap. And so don't snap. Don't let the water levels rise to extreme before. Just get your tabo and pour it out in small ways. For the women, do this. I believe women naturally do this. I think. I don't know. I've never been a woman. I would like to stay a man. I'm pretty sure of that. And so, women will naturally talk more than men. But I'm saying in general, please don't just move past intense things, even if you feel okay. Because at one point, maybe 30, 40, maybe even 4 months from now, it'll rear its head and it'll show. And if you're not healthy, it'll come out in an untimely manner. If you want proof of that, just talk about childhood trauma in your adult life. There's the proof. Okay, I have maybe like 5 to 10 more minutes left. To create a budget, just please do it. Once you create a budget and you live underneath your means, it is so freeing. And you can spend money without feeling guilty or ashamed of yourself. And to be honest, you live with it if you learn to look after that. I'm gonna stop talking about this really quick because I think I have some space to grow in this. So I'm just saying I'm just really getting conviction now. Every peso has a purpose. It's there's I think there's something, I don't know if this term has been used before, but financial peace. We talk about financial freedom, but can we talk about financial peace? Is just being able to enjoy the money you have by it not owning you and you owning it. So I'm gonna stop talking there because I think I still have some space to grow. But please don't just think about the freedom of money and having an overly abundance of money, but learning how to enjoy it. So create a budget. And here's what I'm gonna do. So I'll tell you what my next step is. I'm actually gonna create a budget, and I'm gonna show someone who knows more than me, and I'm gonna say, do you think this is a wise use of my money? And do I need all of these things? Is this an unwise amount of... If you're any of the young adults out there that don't know how much groceries should cost, I'm just saying, like, I moved from a different country. It's a different type of finances here. So how much should budget cost? How much should groceries cost? And that person's going to tell me and give me their feedback. Amen. I'm going to put this. And I'll put everything else in the next episode. Learn to ask why enough times. Just ask why enough times. I kind of mentioned this at the beginning a little bit. If you ask yourself why enough times, you will get to the bottom of it. If you have an employee that was late and you ask them enough whys, you will get to the bottom of it. Charles, why were you late? My angkas rider, my motorbike rider, naligaw siya. I'll say, what time did you leave? 20 minutes before. Oh, it's a 30-minute journey. Why did you leave late? Because I slept late. Oh, why did I sleep? Oh, because I was hanging out with people. And you ask enough whys, you will get to the issue of, it's actually not that person's fault, it's your fault. And so, why did I not like responding to messages sometimes? It's not because of this, and this. It was because the systems by which I lived by were not structured enough to handle the output of that I wanted to put out, right? And so maybe it's not you learning to solve the fruit issue, it's learning to solve the root issue. So learn and figure out why. I would even put this into a workspace. If you're not asking why enough, I would debatably call you lazy. Speaking to all the Gen Zs out there, I love people like Serene, Tristan, even the people in this team do this enough. That's why they're part of the team. And so you ask why enough to a boss, they will love you, because when they're not around, you will know why they want certain things, and you will be the best employee that they have. Yes to critical thinking. I just want to honor Angge. There was a time where I didn't order food. Critical thinking, she knows me well enough from being friends that she knows I like broccoli and beef bowl, and I hadn't eaten that day at the shoot. So critical thinking, he hasn't eaten. I know what he likes. Technically, I'm employed by him. Buy him food. I still paid for it, but she just got it because she was thinking critically, and she knows the why of what we're doing at the show, and she knew it would eventually affect either our workflow or the performance of the show. And so, being a great owner of the show, she did that. Some people think it's as simple as ordering food, being nice. I believe, Angge, correct me if I'm wrong, you were thinking of the bigger picture. And so, any employee, if you're doing that, ask why enough. You will be their best person. My last one for today will probably be this one. And I actually have some big ones that I want to share with you guys in the next episode. And I believe it's actually going to help you in life, and I hope it will be. But here's my last one for today. Learn to sit still. This one I'm getting a little goosebumps on, because I've recently realized that if you're not sitting still enough, you're doing things in your own strength. Well, speaking to the Christians out there and the people that love Jesus, if you're doing it in your own strength, you're going to run out. And I would even say, if you're doing it in your own strength, if you're not taking strength from the Lord, you will start to take strength from other people. And it will poison your relationships. It will ruin your health, the health of your whatever you're building, family, and the other people will resent you for it. And they should, because they're fighting their own battles. The times where I haven't had enough strength, I've relied on other people's strength, and that can become an unhealthy pattern. And that would become not good character that will become reliance and dependence, and we'll grow up to be giant man babies and not responsible adults. Anyway, so point being, I learned that I wasn't sitting still enough, and I was rushing through life. That again, I love Jesus. I wasn't sitting and acknowledging him enough for a season. And so I would come straight from work. I would do the things that I thought would refresh me, and then I would go to sleep. And I realized I didn't want to sit still long enough because I felt like God was disappointed with me. And again, this is not maybe to all the people that are at kids' church. Oh my gosh, don't freak out, please. I'm fine. My point was, it was a season of maybe like a week or two where I think I was just rushing enough or too much. And it brought up some things that I had to figure out, and I'm figuring out. But it just kind of brought me to the moment of like, God loves me despite performance. So why do I struggle to sit still? And here's what I learned from it. If you've ever gone to a great restaurant, and I'm not talking like a random, hole in the wall. I'm talking like a great restaurant. When they refill your water, they will either look at you first or ask your permission first. And I realize what you have to do in order to get that water in your cup is you have to look up the waiter and either give him a sign, give him a signal, say, yes, please, but you have to acknowledge the waiter. If God's the best servant ever in all creation, and is the best man ever, he's a gentleman, he wants to serve you, he wants to fill your cup, but he won't do it unless you acknowledge, right? So every time my cup has been refilled, it's because I've taken the time to look off what I'm eating, acknowledge the waiter, and he's like, I would love to, thank you. Let me fill your cup again. And so, it's just a hard time. I didn't realize that not sitting still for long amounts of time was a sign of my self-reliance and not my dependence on Christ. So again, if you believe in Jesus, take that with a pinch of salt, apply it to your own life. If you don't, I would say, Jesus is great and you will run out eventually on something. So might as well go to someone who's infinite and who literally loves you enough and can't get tired. And so I would say those are a couple of things that I've learned recently that have helped me so much. And I just pray that you have a healthier life and that this helps you and that you don't learn this when you're 30. If you're 30 and you're listening this, I believe just please don't wait until you're 40. And if you're 40, don't wait until you're 60 and just so on and so forth. So I hope this speaks to you guys. I'm not perfect. I'm learning and I'm growing. But I believe in God's grace enough and in experience enough that there's, we can learn together and that, everything's going to be okay in the end. So please, let's do this together. Enjoy. And I'll see you in the next episode of Painfully Human Podcast. Mwah.